Have you ever wondered how some people just have this natural gift or ability to inspire and uplift those around them? Do you feel like you've got some sort of untapped potential that you could use to make a real difference in other people's lives? Are you ready to harness your unique gifts and superpowers to create positive change in the lives of those around you? Do you want to leave a more lasting impact on the world, but you aren't sure where to start? If you've ever asked these questions of yourself, then you are in the right place, because today I want to dive deep into how you can use your gifts and superpowers to intentionally influence and inspire others. Now, my name is Jake Talbert, and I'm the founder and chief giver over at The Giver Method. If you're new here, welcome. The Giver Method, what we're all about is helping people to identify what their gifts and superpowers are so they can identify the right people to have intentional influence on, which is what we'll talk about today, so they can create value for people without asking for anything in return using those gifts and superpowers. And then, of course, that if with each engagement, interaction, discussion, whatever it may be, that they are as eager and effective as possible so that you can step into who it is that you're meant to be. You can make a greater impact. You can get one of the results we talk about is relationship riches, deeper, more meaningful connections with people so you can make a deeper and more meaningful impact on their lives. What I've also found is that when people develop their gifts and superpowers, and they do so and start giving it without asking for anything in return, that the universe has a way of paying them back. Now, it's not every single time, but I've seen it time and time again where people just continue to be able to have the universe pay them back based off of that. So that's what I'm inviting you to do as we dive into this idea of intentional influence. If you haven't done already, though, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, leave your comments along the way. Of course, at the end, if you want to share this with someone who needs it, you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the places, or at thegivermethod.com. The more that you share this out with others, the greater ripple effect of positive change that we can make on other people's lives. Now, let's unlock these secrets. Let's talk about how you can take your superpowers and have intentional and make intentional influence. Along the way, I like to give action items, things that you could go and do right now, this week, this month, whatever it may be, to start making that impact or that change you're trying to make. So in order to be more intentionally influential around those using your gifts and superpowers, you're going to want to write down what these action items are. Either pull out a note, piece of paper, whatever it may be, jot down your thoughts and ideas as we go. So that way you're able to start putting those into practice and make the change that you're wanting to make. Okay, so let's dive into these. So number one is that you have to have self-awareness and understand what your gifts and superpowers are. It's truly the foundation of if you want to have intentional influence is knowing yourself and recognizing what your unique gifts and superpowers are. You can't effectively inspire others if you don't understand what makes you special. Your gifts are often things that are super effortless to you and you might overlook them. I mean, I can remember a time when I was focused on improving myself, but I was trying to improve my weaknesses and I totally overlooked what my strengths were. And it wasn't until the time that I really took time to reflect what came easy to me. What did others praise me for? What did I lose track of time doing? That I began to really see what my true potential could be in influencing others. It's a study I cover in the book, The Giver Method, where they got together a group of executives from a company. And what they did is they hand each of them a piece of paper and they asked each one of them to write down what are they the best at. And after they wrote it down, they went around and each person shared what did they feel they were the best at. And then afterwards, they then went around the room and asked everybody else at the table, well, what do you think Jake is the best at? What do you think Sarah's the best at? Or whoever it may be. And when the person wrote down themselves, they wrote down one, maybe two things that they're the best at. When others talked about them, it was 3, 4, 5, 10 things that the person was really, really good at. And so we don't see these things in ourselves. And if we don't see them, we can't truly inspire. We can't truly lead people unless we know what those things are and be able to harness them in the right way. So this is where you're going to want to grab that piece of paper. Your action step here, is to create a gift inventory. So you want to list out what are your top 5 skills, talents, traits that you have, gifts that you have. Maybe you already know that it's a superpower you have. And for each one, write down a way that you could use it to inspire or help someone in the next week. And then, of course, the punchline is find the ways to do that this week. You can also ask, friends or family members, once again, like that boardroom, other people knowing, you may want to go to other people and say, hey, what do you think I'm the best at? And it could be hard skills, it could be soft skills, it could be technical abilities, it could be interpersonal traits, but both can be very powerful tools in how you influence people. And then reflect on the times where you feel the most alive, where you've been in the flow, you lose track of time. These are often more clues towards what those superpowers, those things could be for you. So number 2 principle that we have is that you need to lead by example. One of the most powerful ways we can influence others is through our own actions. When you are consistently embodying the qualities, the values that you want to see in the world, you become a living inspiration to those around you. You also want to be transparent about your journey. So include what your challenges have been. What have been your ups, your downs? This makes you way more relatable to others and shows them that growth is possible, which helps to once again lift them up. So your action step here is to choose one area of your life where you want to just be a positive influence. Could be health, productivity, kindness, whatever that thing may be. And for the next 21 days, we'll say, commit to embodying those qualities consistently. You might want to keep a daily journal or log or whatever it may be on how you're living that example has affected those around you, the things that you've noticed, and how it's affected and changed you. The biggest piece is that consistency is going to be key here. People are inspired by seeing you walk the walk and talk the talk day in and day out. Remember, you're always influencing others whether you intend to or not, and could be for positive or negative. So make it super intentional and super positive as you do so. Small and consistent actions often have way bigger impact than grand one-time gestures. Principle number 3 is that you need to be able to empower others. True influence isn't about making others dependent on you. It's about empowering them to recognize and use their own gifts. And when you help others unlock their potential, you create this ripple effect of positive change, like the one we're trying to make. You create opportunities for others to showcase their talents, their strengths. You have to celebrate successes as they come, whether it be your own or theirs. And so you want to empower them as much as you can. So action step here would be to identify someone in your life who could benefit from the knowledge, the experience, the superpower you have, and offer to mentor them or guide them through that specific area, maybe for the next month. Keep track of what their progress is and how the act of empowering them empowers you in your growth process, and it also improves and helps you grow your sense of purpose. Because empowering others, it's more than just asking, questions. You really have to get down into deep. What are their answers, and what is the emotion behind what they're saying? So remember that when you empower others, you're not diminishing your own light. You're actually brightening the whole room. And that's a big thing people struggle with, because they feel like if they put others up on a pedestal, that it detracts from themselves, and that's not the case in any way possible. Principle number 4 is going to be using active listening and empathy. These are 2 topics I cover in almost every video. Some people are probably rolling their eyes and going, oh my gosh, you talk about this all the time. So influence isn't about what you say. It's about how well you listen and understand others. So develop your empathy and your listening skills, and you can dramatically increase your ability to connect and inspire others. So pay attention to those nonverbal cues, body language, the tone of often how people communicate. It's more than just words. One of the last videos we did, we talked about digital body language and the digital, active listening and empathy. Those are hard things to do when it's remotely, let alone when it's in person. Practice reflective listening. Paraphrase what they've said. I heard you say this. You want to ensure that you understand what it is that they're saying before you try to help them or give context or respond to whatever it is that they're saying. So what you want to do for your action step here is your next, let's say 5 conversations, which should be easy. You practice deeper listening. Focus entirely on understanding the other person's perspective without planning what your response is going to be. And after each conversation, reflect on what you learned on how this approach influenced the interaction. You approach each conversation with genuine curiosity about the other person's perspective, and you want to make sure that people, just remember, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. I'm sure you've all heard this before. So moving on to the next one, principle 5, sharing your story, your personal experiences, the lessons that you've learned. They are so powerful in tools that you can use to influence others. When you share your story as authentically as possible, you're going to create connections and inspire others to overcome their own challenges. So be vulnerable, sharing your struggles as well as your successes, and make them as relatable as possible. Focus on lessons and growth, not just events. Really what it took, what you felt, things like that. So your action step here is to reflect on maybe a personal challenge you've overcome or a valuable lesson you learned, and craft it into a story that can be inspiring for others. Try and find a way to share that story with 2 to 3 people this week, and try to tailor it a little bit to each person's situation. And note how sharing that experience impacts both you and the listeners. I mean, just consider how much your story might offer hope or inspiration or practical guidance to others. And your story's unique, so don't downplay the value by trying to compare it to someone else's or saying, well, this isn't really that big of a thing. Every lesson in every story you have could be a pivotal piece to someone's growth. The 6th principle is you need to align your influence with your purpose. So if you want to create lasting, meaningful influence, your actions, they just have to be aligned with your core values, your purpose, and who it is that you are. So when you're clear on your why, your influence becomes way more authentic and way more powerful. Your purpose doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. Small acts of kindness aligned with your core values have such a big impact. So it can be big things if they need to be, but also remember it's those little things. Regularly check in with yourself and ensure that your actions are still aligned with your purpose, or your purpose and values. Have they changed? And do you need to make sure that your actions are now aligned with them moving forward? The action step here, take some time to reflect on and write down your own personal mission statement. What do you stand for? What's the impact you're trying to make on the world? Then, for each item of your gift inventory from the first principle we talked about, write down how it can serve a larger purpose, how you can make a greater impact to others. So be totally open to the fact that your purpose, it evolves. As you grow and you gain new experiences, the impact you want to make, your way you view the world, it changes. So be prepared for that. And then remember that your influence, as soon as it is aligned with your purpose, it's going to energize you and others. It's not going to deplete you. It's actually going to help build you up and keep you going forward to continue to be intentional and to continue to make influence and impact on others. So intentional influence, it's about consistency, using your unique gifts and superpowers to inspire and uplift others. So develop that self-awareness, lead by example, empower other people. Look at that, how you practice empathy, active listening, share your story and be vulnerable about it. Align your actions with purpose, and you can create this positive ripple effect that we were talking about. It's going to extend so much further than you would ever truly know. Remember, you don't have to have some sort of huge platform or fancy title to be influential. You can influence anybody around you. Every interaction you have is an opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. Your unique combination of gifts and experiences and perspectives means that you have the power to influence people in ways that no one else can, because your gifts and superpowers are so unique to you. So as you move forward, keep in mind that intentional influence, it's a journey you're going to be on, and it's going to have ups and downs. It's not a destination you get to, but it's about consistently showing up, being authentic, and using your gifts and superpowers to serve others. Some days you're going to see the impact immediately. Other times you may never actually know what the impact is that you made in someone else's life. Just trust the process and keep shining your light out to other people. Now, if you're ready to dive deeper into discovering what your unique gifts and superpowers are and learning how to create more meaningful impact on those around you, then I invite you to go to thegivermethod.com and join our newsletter list. By doing that, you're going to get exclusive updates, insights, tips that can be helpful in your journey towards intentional influence and personal growth. Now, when you're on the website, you can also see that we'll let you know about when the book is coming out. That way you can get first access to it before other people. There's all sorts of other ways that we can help people, podcasts, speaking on stage, services we offer, things like that. So check out thegivermethod.com. Make sure that, once again, you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. You may want to now share this with someone who you think needs it since you've watched the whole thing. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places, or once again, thegivermethod.com. Until next time, please keep growing, keep giving, keep working to make a difference in your world. I believe in you. The universe needs you to step into who it is that you're meant to be. So we need you to believe in you and to start making this intentional influence and impact on other people's lives. We'll catch you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.